got a chance to see the Thunderbolts by Marvel Studios. Let's talk about it right now. Welcome back to the channel, everyone. Thank you so much for spending time with me as we rant about movies, comic books, and television shows, as well as the occasional board game. I am your host, Frank Zanka, an award-winning screenwriter, novelist, and comic book writer, as well as a filmmaker. And yeah, we're about to talk about the Thunderbolts. But before we do, remember to give me that like, give me that thumbs up if you can. Like this video, and on top of that, if you can subscribe, please do. Ring that bell, ding ding. Share this video out there. And also, remember too that I am a writer, so if you'd like to read anything that I've written, just go to Amazon.com and type my name in, and you'll see all my stuff pop up, including my 4-novel series, Destiny Aurora. It's my sci-fi. It was made into a board game, an RPG, a graphic novel. It's also on Audible. All my books are also on Kindle. I also have my fantasy book, Tales of Ravenor the Iron Witch, my Holocaust biography, Escape from Berlin, and my ghost story horror book, The Awakening. I'm working on a new book right now, and we are launching a new comic as well called Fairy Tales of Terror. It's going to be awesome. The artwork is looking amazing. All right, so let's jump into the Thunderbolts. I was looking forward to this. This is probably the only Marvel movie I was looking forward to. This is probably where my journey with the Marvel Universe ends. I'm done. I am not going to see Fantastic Four. I don't like a lot of what they're doing with that. I am not going to see Doomsday. I don't like them bringing back Robbie Downey Jr. just to throw him in there as kind of a dangling fish on a hook. I also don't like that they're bringing Namor or Namor into this. I'm a big fan of Atlantis in general, if you've been watching my channel. I still, to this day, have never seen the second Black Panther movie because of the damage they did to Namor. So them bringing him into there, I'm done. I'm done with Marvel completely as far as a film series is concerned. Maybe I might watch it when it comes on. All that stuff comes on streaming eventually. But then again, Black Panther 2 has been on streaming for years and never seen it. Never seen it. And never will. Even when they did the last Fantastic Four movie that was complete crap, I didn't see that either. And I'm a huge Fantastic Four fan. I've been going backwards since the Fantastic Four books are literally so bad that I've been picking up all the old books, especially the John Byrne run. I've been going backwards and buying Fantastic Four because I'm a big Fantastic Four fan, but not the new stuff. I like the old stuff. I like the stuff that they were doing with that back in the 80s and stuff to that effect. That's where really the true stuff was. And as far as I'm concerned, they've only made really 2 good Fantastic Four movies, and they're called The Incredibles. I actually didn't mind the ones they did with Jessica Alba and stuff like that, and Chris Evans. They destroyed Doom. Doom was bad in that. Boy, did they screw that up. They didn't do a good job with Galactus either. But my buddy Doug Jones played the Silver Surfer in that, or at least the physicalities of him. And I thought that the Silver Surfer looked really, really good in there. But at least the family atmosphere was all there. Johnny was done very well. So I didn't mind that for what it was. But here it's just they're taking just too many liberties. They're trying to shove it into 2025. And I'm going to tell you why I'm bringing up the Fantastic Four as much as I am at this point. But yeah, so I'm a big fan of Florence Pugh. I think she is great. And this is a movie where she is allowed to shine. She does a lot of stuff. In fact, she fought to do that first drop off the building. They weren't going to do it because she does have a small stunt with that. Of course, she doesn't drop off the entire building, but she does do the initial drop. And and on top of that, I didn't know I had bought a ticket for 3D. So they hand me glasses. I'm not a fan of 3D at all. But I was actually glad I did, because eventually your eyes get used to it, and the 3D just kind of wears off anyway. It's just a waste. But it cost me the same because I'm an A-list member, so it didn't cost me anything more. But before my eyes got used to it, the Marvel logo came in. It looked amazing. And then the initial drop in 3D was great. Then we had all the lasers coming in the beginning with the 3D. That all looked really cool. So I was glad I got the 3D, but after a while the 3D just kind of wears off anyway. But anyway, so the cast here does a really, really good job. Of course, Thunderbolts was always Marvel's version of the Suicide Squad. It just always was. Originally it was who was the leader there? Baron Zemo in the comics, and then they made Red Hulk the leader because of Thunderbolt Ross. It kind of was even his name. So I really thought, too, that I was kind of cringing when I saw the trailer with David Harbour playing Red Guardian. I really thought he was going to annoy me all the way through the movie, and he didn't. Thank God. Thank God, because he was the heart of the movie. So he was able to be over the top and then pull back, and then be over the top and then pull back. And I appreciated that, because I really thought he was going to be over the top all the way through. So this is written by Eric Pearson, who has a wide range of stuff that he's written that is highly not only well known but well revered. He did Transformers 1, which I know I didn't see that movie. I know a lot of people really like that. But he also did Black Widow, which I know everybody's up in the air about, whether it's good or whether it's bad. I think everybody agrees that it has some good stuff to it and some bad stuff to it. He did Godzilla vs. Kong, which I know people don't like. Well, they like the monsters but don't like the script. Thor Ragnarok, which I know 90% of people like. Agent Carter, he did 88 episodes of that. So, he's got some good stuff under him. The other people that are tagged with writing with him, Joanna Kalo, she's written stuff with him before, but she's more of a producer than she is a writer. And then Kurt Busiek is also tagged with this, but he's a creator of the Thunderbolts comic, so he didn't really write the script. The director, Jake Schreier, is more of a music video guy. If you look at his credits, he has a ton of music videos. But the big thing that I know that he's done is Robot and Frank. He did a thing called Beef, which he also was written by Kahlo. But yeah, as far as he did Kanye West, stuff like that. He did Selena Gomez. He did one episode of Skeleton Crew. So he really hasn't done much. But he allowed the actors here to carry the film. Because the script here is okay. It's okay. But it's not great. It's definitely not great. What's carrying the film here is the actors. The relationship they have, the bond that they have as actors shines through. Because there is chemistry here, and that's what's fun to watch. In fact, I even have my Yelena figure here as well. I think I prefer the white on her than the black. The black wouldn't really work. The costumes here are not that great. Red Guardian has his same costume. Bucky really doesn't have anything until the end credit scene. And I am going to talk about the end credit scene, just FYI. And Walker has his same thing, although I don't understand why the shield didn't have the star on it. It was like everything's just gray. I didn't really like that. And I didn't like his beret that he wore at the end either. The helmet was fine. But they kind of make fun of him because of the helmet. They call it a hat. And then you have Ghost, which I thought was a major missed opportunity in Ant-Man and the Wasp. Because that was really a good villain. You could have had a villain, and then they did nothing with it. I mean, they tried to, instead of making a villain, they tried to make it where, oh, she's just misunderstood or whatever else. Just make a villain, man. But Hannah Kanan, John Kanan, I think it is. I knew her from that sci-fi series Killjoys. I always thought that she was really good in that. But I think I like the old Ghost costume better. They kind of put everybody in black here to a certain extent. But that's what really carries the film. So the first third of the film, they're like locked in a room. So the first third, it's just like one location. They're locked in a room. I'm not going to give away what happens, but I really dislike what they did with Taskmaster. I mean, what a waste of what they've done with that character. Oh my God. So they gender swapped, or I'm just going to say sex swapped, that character. He's supposed to be a male. And then in Black Widow, they made her a female. Now, I love Olga Kurylenko. I met Olga Kurylenko when I was in Dubai. But she's wasted there. She's behind a mask anyway. There's no acting for her. And here I dislike what they did completely. I'm like, really? My eyes are just like, really? I'm so confused. So anyway, I'm not going to give that. I'm not going to give anything away. But I'm just saying, you're going to be surprised too. And I like what they did with Red Guardian here. We got to see a little bit more about the relationship between him and Florence Pugh. You can see that she's still hurting from Black Widow's death. And I never understood this because in the beginning of Black Widow, right, he doesn't have an accent. David Harbour's playing it like he's going to work every day, right? And he's coming home. He doesn't have an accent. And then from that point on, he has an accent forever. He never loses it. And I understand the character needs it, but the beginning of Black Widow ruins that. I don't know. Whatever. Sebastian Stan's always good. Julia Louis-Dreyfus, I think, does a really good job here as a villain. She's so tiny. She is so tiny. I love the John Walker character in here as well. Wyatt Russell. He did that World War II movie I loved him in also, where they were like all mutating and stuff like that. I really like him a lot. But yeah, so the cast is doing the heavy lifting here because there's no story. There's no story here. Nothing. I really liked everything they got. When they're saving people, that's when the movie really shines, I think. And also when they're trying to get out of the other room, I thought that I really liked that. In fact, young Elena, because he's constantly going back in time to her first mission in the Red Room, and it's the younger version of her is played by Violet McGraw, and she is the one who played Katie in Megan. So she's got a big career ahead of her if she's starting to get picked up now by the big thing. She's good. So I hope the best for her completely. But anyway, so then we have Sentry come in here, and we have Lewis Pullman playing that, which is really funny because he's playing Bob, right? That's the character's name is Bob until he becomes Sentry, and he also played Bob in Top Gun Maverick. That was his call sign. Talk about fate, I guess. That's pretty funny. He does a great job all the way through, but I'll tell you where my problem is. This has the same problem as the original Suicide Squad, as Green Lantern. Both of those things, I think, have the same problem. And what I mean by that is that you have this in fact, Yelena even says it. None of us can fly. None of us can do any of this stuff. All we can do is shoot and punch, right? She says it. out loud. And the same thing with the original Suicide Squad. They shot and punched and, baseball batted, if you talk about Harley Quinn. But yet they keep putting these grounded teams against something supernatural. And I'm going to call, Bob Sentry supernatural because he's actually stronger than Superman. Because Superman has, strength and speed, but on top of that, Sentry has super strength, super speed, and he has telekinesis. And then when he turns into the Void, he has these Void powers. So he's actually stronger than Superman is. And I kind of liken the Void powers to Cloak, is how I kind of think of it, from Cloak and Dagger. We have these grounded team, and the same thing, like I said, with Green Lantern, because the original Suicide Squad, they ended up fighting the Sorceress or whatever. And then on top of that, it was already far-fetched beyond that, and then you're putting them against something that they should have no ability to fight, and yet they do. Green Lantern, where he's fighting a nebulous cloud instead of putting Sinestro in there. So I don't know why they keep making these decisions for them to put people, and then, I'm not going to tell you that ending, but they keep putting these grounded characters against people that they shouldn't be able to fight, right? I do love, like I did in the trailer with John Walker, where his shield is bent, and he literally says he turned my shield into a taco. It was very funny. It definitely had funny stuff. It was heartfelt to a degree because you were following these characters that are all broken. They were able to create a non-verbal, like Julia Louis-Dreyfus says something about John Walker, and Yelena turns to him, and there is a non-verbal communication go on between them, so that's showing that link. So they all linked by the end. They don't trust each other, but they keep coming through for each other, which I think is the message behind the film. That people of different backgrounds that don't trust each other can still become a team. So the first post-credit scene, it's just a throwaway. There's nothing major to that. The second one is about them continuing as a team. I'm not going to give anything else away about that one. But the one scene, that one shot, okay, I'm just going to tell you the one shot that's in it. If you don't want to hear it, then it's not going to change anything from you, the enjoyment of you seeing it. But it's something in space. They see a ship in space. They even make a joke about space, and it ends up being the Fantastic Four ship, right? That's my only giveaway, which I'm sure everybody was already knowing that it was gonna be a tease. So anyway, that's why I'm bringing up Fantastic Four as much, because that is the link to whatever's next. So, because it even says that Yelena and the Thunderbolts will, it's kind of like James Bond, will return. And, so I don't know if they're going to end up in Fantastic Four in their post-credit scene, but that's about the extent of that. So, yeah, again, I'm not going to see Fantastic Four, so all that, build up is worthless to me. I don't care. But anyway, that's it for me. So I liked the first three quarters of it. The first 3 quarters of it I really liked. And the last quarter I just didn't. I don't think it fit into a Thunderbolts story. I just thought it was too far out there about how they defeat the villain and all this other stuff. It's just, they went too far as as I'm concerned. And it just didn't fit the mold. They broke the mold to make it work. And that's why I think the guy who's writing it, he's on again, off again. I mean, it's kind of like the same thing as Black Widow. Where it doesn't, some scenes are good, some scenes are really good, and then some scenes just kind of fall off, and he doesn't really know how to end a movie. And that's quite apparent from the stuff that he's written in the past. So I'm going to give this a 7 out of 10. I will watch it again. For the most part, I liked it. Again, I just didn't like the last quarter of it. And it was a long movie, and it didn't feel long. So again, the actors were pulling the heavy weight on it, and I really appreciate their talents, because it was their talents that made the movie work. Nobody else. The directing is good. I wouldn't say the directing is great. I think that the actors were directing the director. That's what I think. I think the director just said, go do what you got to do. I wouldn't be surprised if some of this stuff was improv. Anyway, that's it for me. Thank you guys so much for watching. I greatly appreciate it. If you can subscribe, please do. Share this video out there. Ring that bell, ding, ding. And check out my books on Amazon. You can make fun of me as well. Just type my name in, or there's a link in the description below. Let me know what you guys think. Let me know if you guys watched the film. And, if you're so excited about Fantastic Four. All right. Thanks a lot, guys. See you in the next one.